Welcome back, and we are going to be continuing to work on some shapes today. I hope you guys are excited. Yesterday we talked about flat shapes that we could draw with our pencil, our 2D shapes. Today we're going to be talking about 3D shapes. These are shapes that we can hold in our hands and see that they have volume. So we are going to be working on those today. Our goal is I can identify 3D shapes and their attributes. So let's get working. Hi guys, today we're going to work on some 3D shapes. 3D means that I can really hold it in my hands. It has shape and it is thick. It's not just flat on a page. So we are able to feel it. So the first one we have is a rectangular prism. I have an example of a rectangular prism right here. You can see this big rectangle on there, and it's thick. It's not just flat. So it has what is called a face. So the face is the flat part that if I just looked at that, it might look just like a rectangle. But this can be a face too, even though it's smaller. So let's count how many faces are on my rectangular prism. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have to count the ends. 5, 6. Our rectangular prism has 6 faces. So we'll write 6 on there. Good job, guys. Now we have to count what's called the edge. The edge is the line where the two faces meet. So there's a face here and here. Here is the edge. So now we have to count all the edges. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to look over here. 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have to go to the other side. 9, 10, 11, 12 edges. Wow, that's a lot. Let's write that down. Good job, guys. As you can see in my picture, some of the edges are straight lines that are dark, but if it's behind it, I put some dotted lines in here to show those edges. Good job. So now, can you think of an example of a rectangular prism? Something that looks like this in real life that's not this little model that I have. When I think of a rectangular prism, I sometimes think of my box of crayons because my box of crayons is thick so it can hold all my crayons in there. But it also is kind of rectangular. It kind of looks like a rectangle. So, good job, guys. Our next one is a cube. Can you say that with me? Cube. A cube uses a lot of squares. So you can see when I hold this, it's pretty thick and pretty big. But if I just look at the face, it looks like a square. And all these faces are going to be the same size. So let's count the faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have to count the ends. 5, 6. How many faces are there? 6. Good job. Now, what did I say was special about these ones, though? All the faces need to be the same size. They need to be equal size, like a square. So I'll put the little equal sign again for us. Now we have to count the edges. Remember, an edge is where the two faces come together to form this line. Let's count how many edges there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now gotta count the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 edges, just like our rectangular prism. So 12 edges. When I think of a cube, an example I think of is the cube we use in math. It's just the different colors. Remember, we use them to build and help us make our bar models. But I also think of different boxes that I've used for like moving and things like that. So it has like the two little flaps that holds all your stuff when you move. So those are the two things I think of. Next, we have a triangular prism. This is a lot like the rectangular prism, but it has a triangle on the end. So it looks kind of like a triangle. Let's count the faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 faces on a triangular prism. And 2 of those faces have to be a triangle in order to make it a triangular prism. It has to have something that looks like a triangle. Now let's count the edges. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 edges. Wow, that's a lot. 9 edges. Can you think of something that looks like a triangular prism? I tend to think of the top of my house. The roof on the top of my house looks like a triangular prism. And then it would have a rectangular prism on the bottom. So, I typically think of that roof on the top of my house. Good job. Next, we have what's called a cylinder. A cylinder. So, a cylinder is round, but it's very tall and kind of flat on top. So, it looks like a circle if I just look at the top of it, but it's very tall. So, a cylinder is kind of misleading. So, it has 2 faces. This is a face and this is a face because it is flat. But this cylinder part here that wraps around is not a face because it is not flat. So it only has 2 faces. It's one of our tricky ones. 2 faces. Now let's look at the edges. Do you see any edges? There's one right there that goes all the way around. And there's one on the bottom. It has 2 edges where it comes together. So, 2 edges. When I think of an example of a cylinder, sometimes I think of like a soda can. So Mrs. Me's favorite soda is Pepsi, so I'm going to draw a Pepsi can. Because typically I think of like holding a soda can, and that's a cylinder. I also sometimes think of soup though. So I'm going to draw a can of soup. Because soup is really yummy in the winter. And so I think of soup too when I think of a cylinder. Good job, guys. Okay, so our next one that we're going to work on is called a cone. A cone. So a cone has a circular bottom. It looks like a circle on the bottom. But it comes up to a point and it's all curved on the sides. So a cone only has one face that looks like a circle. This is the only flat part of our cone. But this curved edge is not a face because it's curved. It's not flat. So we have one face. Okay, do we have any edges? We do. We have one edge. This edge goes all the way around, so it is one edge. This point on top is not an edge. This would be one of those vertices that we talked about last time, where it comes together to one point. When I think of a cone, have you guys ever heard the word cone before when you're eating a sweet treat? Like an ice cream cone. So I think about ice cream a lot when I think of cones. I love ice cream in a cone, a good waffle cone. Another thing I think of for cones are birthday hats. Our birthday hats, sometimes when we have those at a birthday party, those are little cones. So we would put that on our head at a birthday party. Good job. Next, our next one is a pyramid. A pyramid has a square bottom and these triangles on the sides. The triangle has 3 sides. Let's count the faces on our pyramid. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 faces on our pyramid. So we're going to write 5 on our faces. We have 5 flat faces. Good job. How many edges are on our pyramid? Let's count. Edges where they come together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 edges. There's our 8 edges. Remember, an edge is where the 2 faces come together to make a straight line. Now, when I think of a pyramid, I think of the pyramids that are in Egypt. These were made a long time ago, and they're made out of stone. They're going up into the point at the top, and they have the 4 triangle sides. Good job. So I'm going to just draw a pyramid right here. And we're going to pretend that it's made out of stone like the ones that we see in Egypt. Our last one is a sphere. That is a weird word to say. Will you say it with me? Sphere. A sphere is like a little ball. Do you see that it's a circle, but it's round on all sides? I can fit it in my hand. Does it have any flat faces? No, it doesn't. It is completely round. So, a sphere has 0 faces. Because it is round, all the way around, it has 0 faces. Do you see any straight edges? No, there's no edges either. So it is a 0 there. It is very round. It doesn't have anything. Can you guys think of any spheres that we see or maybe play with a lot? Lots and lots of sports equipment is a sphere. So like a basketball is a sphere. Or a soccer ball is a sphere. I know lots of us play soccer, so I wanted to bring that one up. Another thing that is a sphere, if you've ever made these before, is popcorn balls. Popcorn balls are a sweet treat made out of popcorn. They're very yummy. It's kind of like it has caramel. So those are also spheres. You guys did so awesome talking about our 3D shapes. Remember, our 3D shapes, we can hold them. We can feel them. They're not going to be flat and able to be drawn on a paper very easily. But they are very cool, and we get to interact with them a lot more. So, good job. We're going to quickly say the name of all these shapes. Rectangular prism, cube, triangular prism, cylinder, cone, pyramid, and sphere. Good job, guys. Have a great day. You did a great job naming and finding the attributes of our 3D shapes.